We're back at the Lake Quivira Passive House, and we are wrapping up demo. As you can see, all the walls are completely exposed now. All the electrical, plumbing, most of the HVAC that was in the walls is yanked out. So we're getting down to the studs. We got down to the original subfloor, which is 1x8 sheeting ran on a diagonal. This had multiple layers on it, including carpet, some tile, some linoleum. Also had another cheap subfloor that was underneath of that. That all got hauled off, and we're down to the original subfloor. From here, we're going to build up with 3/4 inch tongue and groove plywood sheeting, which will serve as our substrate for future flooring, as well as our air barrier. We've yanked out, as you can see, all the insulation over here. We're going to pop in some horizontal windows up high to let some western light through. Keep them up high enough where we can place furniture, anything from couch, end tables, things like that, so they're not right in front of the windows themselves. Ductwork, we still have some existing ductwork that's coming up from the crawl space. That will all get yanked out as well. We'll in fact have 0 mechanicals down in the crawl space. We'll be bringing all the mechanicals inside the space, inside the treated floor area. Over here we have the fireplace that just got torn out. We're down below the floor joist. That way we can go ahead and frame in the new floor. We're going to be able to grab some great interior floor space, having it's about 30 square feet of area that we're actually able to put back into the house, and at the same time eliminate the hole in the house, which was the fireplace, nothing but sucking great energy out of the house. Up above, we have 4 clear story windows that will be getting removed. The reason is the ceiling's actually going to drop down a bit because we're going to add several inches of insulation. In fact, the 2x12 beams that are exposed up above in the tongue and groove, those are about 11 1/4 inches. Filling it out with bad insulation or some cellulose, we're only really going to be able to get to maybe an R40-ish in there, and we're shooting for R70, so we're actually going to drop down a little bit more, as well as add insulation up top. In doing so, the windows are going to be in a they're just going to have to shrink too much, or it's just going to look awkward having the ceiling tie into them that high up. So the windows are gone, but we are adding windows over to the west side, which will be a little bit better too. This is actually the north wall where those clear stories are at now, so a lot of energy lost to the north side. We are in the dining room area. We just got down our new subfloor over the top of our 1x8 pine subfloor. So this will be our air barrier along with our substrate for our new material. This will all get oak hardwoods over the top. Before we get that far, we need to seal up all the joints and all the nail holes or nails that are going through this material. So this is our air barrier, so all joints need to be addressed. This long run right here, these runs, all the nails will get filled with Persoco joint seam filler, and that will hold our continuous air barrier. As we move over to the walls, we are actually going to be using an interior air barrier from a company called Intello. This is an air barrier that can be stapled on to the inside of the walls. It is vapor open, which is appropriate for our climate. In order for this to be continuous, we'll actually run this down to the subfloor, create a 90-degree turn, and tape it down to the subfloor. So this air barrier is continuous. Subfloor of the floor tying into the air barrier of the Intello, running this up to the ceiling, and actually turning again and going across to the other side. Before we do that, this whole cavity will get filled with insulation. Then we'll staple this onto the studs. After doing so, we'll be running a chase wall for all of our electrical. So electrical wires, outlet switches will all run in a false wall just on the inside of this. This will be 2x4s ran at a horizontal. So yes, this membrane is going to come on across, run all the way down to the other side, tape down there again. We did have some structural issues we found once we got into demo. we have some sagging that's occurring through this house. I believe it's some of the existing piers have dropped ever so slightly, and it's dropped the floor, dropped the wall, and even created a sag up into the roof. From this wall down, we jacked it up in spots as high as 2 inches, which pushed up on the wall, pushed up on the ceiling, and actually started draining some standing water that was up on top. We're going to have to do it again on this free span. There will be no wall here. We want to keep the ceiling. This is going to be an all open area. We'll upset an LVL header up there from the exterior wall back to this area over here. And again, we'll have to jack that up as well to drain the water that's still up there. From there, we'll be moving on to the exterior envelope. We have several windows that we are replacing. In fact, all the windows are getting replaced. So we'll have to adjust the openings for those, as well as preparing for the exterior siding that we're going to put on.